Join me today for another BattleTech book review, this time Redemption Rites by Jason Schmetzer. Welcome to the Geek Cabal channel. My name is Bob, and today we're going to be talking about the BattleTech book Redemption Rites by Jason Schmetzer. There'll be a non-spoiler followed by spoiler section, so we'll do the non-spoilers here first. The book follows the Dragoons. The book is in the IlClan Era. This definitely takes place after Hour of the Wolf. Down in the description I'll have a link to all the other book reviews I've done so far, and I should have a list up here somewhere. Probably they'll have the playlists that are specific to the Dragoons novels, because I recently went in and kind of broke up. I still have the master BattleTech listing, but I've subdivided it into different sections for people that only have interest in certain parts. And we'll start to see those popping up more in the suggestions as we go along here, and populate them with more stuff as we go along. So anyway, as I said, this is the fallout from the Dragoons following Clan Wolf to Terra to battle the Jade Falcons. And yeah, there's quite some fallout. I'll get to that in the spoiler section. But for those of you who don't recall, Hour of the Wolf ended with Alaric Ward giving the Dragoons 30 pieces of silver for their efforts, which is a giant middle finger. And for those of you who don't understand the significance, that's what Judas Iscariot was paid for betraying Jesus Christ. So it's a message basically saying, yeah, thanks, but you're traitors, you know. So yeah, not a good deal. And probably ultimately going to be a mistake on his part, but we'll find out. So this book involves the Dragoons, since they've been seriously depleted on manpower because a lot of them died on Terra. They are going to a secret location that no one else knows that they're there. No one knows where it is. They negotiate being able to take over a recharge station from the Free Worlds League so that they can freely move back and forth, and they make sure that they never upload their coordinates in any of the computers there aboard the station or anything, so that no one knows where exactly they're jumping to. And that's like their new base of operations as they begin to rebuild, because their commands have been seriously depleted, so they need new people, new machines. Now they've got an abundance of hardware, because they took everything that wasn't bolted down they could grab on Terra, including some of the tripod super heavy mechs that the Republic had, and they're trading those for favors, but they also have enough to keep a couple of them functional themselves. So the tripods will no longer be exclusive to the Republic. In the very near future, they'll probably have spread to several of the houses. If they choose to build them. There's some special components, I'm sure, and training, because it takes more than one pilot and things like that. No, actually, I think it's a pilot and then a gunner or something like that. So you've got that going on. Then you have the Wolf Dragoons also wanting the universe to know that just because they lost some people, they're not to be screwed with. So and I'll explain some of that here in the spoiler section. So non-spoiler review stuff here. I think the book's very well written. I believe Jason Schmetzer wrote the other more recent Dragoons books. Let me double check on that. Jason Schmetzer wrote Redemption Rift, which is from Catalyst, the first big Dragoons novel. Takes place during the Dark Age. Got a review for it. There'll definitely be a link somewhere up here, or it'll be in the Dragoons list. And at the time I said that book was probably one of the better books I've seen as an intro to the setting, to the way things work, to the way things work for mercenaries, just the setting lore in general, as well as the IlClan era, and I will likewise, Dark Age era, and I will likewise say that this book is a very good intro to the IlClan era if you don't just read Hour of the Wolf. But I would not just jump into Hour of the Wolf because there's numerous novels build up to it. It is the culmination of the Dark Age novel setting. So there's a lot that you need to read to understand what in the hell's going on there. So this, if you're going to just jump straight into the IlClan era, this provides enough context that I think you could get by. You'll want to read some of the background eventually, but this kind of shows just in general how things work. Gives you a tiny view of the Free Worlds League, who's absent from damn near every book ever written. Little teeny tiny bit with Clan Seafox, and you get to see some of the remnants of Clan Wolf trying to hold things together while the IlClan's off on Terra, just being the IlClan and not sending any messages or anything, and just being like, well, I guess they'll hold the fort till I come back, you know. But yeah, I want to say that there's another book, though. I'm totally drawing a blank on it here. I should double check my own videos. I believe it's Divided We Fall, but that one was written by Blaine Lee Pardoe and not Jason Schmetzer. So still a good book, just to be clear. But you should definitely check it out if you want to know specifically about the Dragoons, because that's the one that sets up everything that happens in Hour of the Wolf as far as the Dragoons are concerned. And you need to know the background of that for parts of this. Now, that's most of what I can say from the non-spoiler front. Like I said, I believe the book's well written, sets a lot of things up, definitely sets some plots into motion, so definitely worth checking out just on its own. But having said all that, now we're going to get into some spoilers. So, the big thing is that a number of the characters that survived Terra do not survive this book. Because, like, General Brubaker gets court-martialed, by Colonel Kincaid. In fact, he court-martials basically all the officers once they come back from Terra, because he thinks it was foolhardy that they did anything that they did, and the instigators should definitely be dealt with. Some people were just following orders, so it's kind of hard to hold them responsible. And yeah, so he court-martials a lot of them. Brubaker, he leaves him a pistol with a single bullet, and he cashes his own ticket. Then I'll have to put his name down in the description, but the guy who who instigated everything in Divided We Fall, not Murata Karinsky, he came from Clan Wolf, he suffers a different fate, but the guy that he bought into everything Karinsky was saying, and really led the internal revolt that sucked in Brubaker and everyone else. He was executed. He was the only one that Brubaker was pushing for the death sentence in the tribunals. Everyone else was, if they were found guilty, they're just going to be balled out of the Dragoons. But he was the one that he felt, all the blood was on his hands. If anyone had to get it, it was him, and he did. So you had that. Now, Murata Karinsky, Kincaid told him to deliver a message to the IlClan, which I thought was... I have mixed feelings on this, just as the events that happened. I'm not saying like narratively or anything against the author or anything. To me, Karinsky kind of got screwed by both sides here, because he ends up being the one that convinces the Dragoons to come to Earth to help. Now, he thinks he's operating in good faith. And then Ulrich Ward screws them with the whole 30 pieces of silver thing. And Kerensky's like, dude, you can't do this. What the hell are you doing? And so he chooses to leave to go back with the Dragoons because he's like, they're more honorable than you are. So he chooses to leave, and then he gets back, and Kincaid's like, yeah, screw you, buddy. Like, you started this whole mess. Like, I've got no use for you. And so he basically gets screwed by both sides here. So I kind of feel sorry for him. But Kincaid kind of reassembles what's left of the Dragoons. They start bringing in new people. They fight they raid some of the Jade Falcon worlds, and any of them that they can convert to their cause as bondsmen, they bring them over. And there are a couple, kind of ranking Falcons that join up. There's also a bunch of people at the Falcons were training kids who were not, they're freeborns from the worlds the Falcons had conquered. And they were having to start trying to accelerate their training because, not the Falcons, sorry, the Wolves. And they were having to accelerate their training because all the able-bodied people left to go fight for Terra. So there's only a handful of people left. Like, the highest ranking guy is a Star Colonel, Othar. And he's trying to pull everything back together for the Wolves, trying to defend what's left of the Wolf Empire, because eventually the IlClan's going to show back up, he thinks. And he doesn't want to be the one to have to explain that everything fell to pot while he was gone. So he's doing his best to try to get everything together, but the Dragoons begin raiding wolf worlds, and any wolves that'll join up, they bring them over through the usual way that clans do things. They become bondsmen, then eventually they cut them free and they join the military. But also there's some of the kids who are the freeborn kids who the moment they're offered the choice, they basically tell the wolves, like, yeah, thanks for training us, now we're going to use it to destroy you, because they despise Clan Wolf for doing what they did to their homeworlds. And they also rebuild Zeta Battalion, which is composed entirely of assault mechs. Its job is to be the sledgehammer. And yeah, we get to see it through most of the book. That's who we follow, some of the missions. And then the final mission in the book is to go to, I believe it's pronounced Gehenna, I'm not entirely certain. It's the Wolf capital. And they are sent there nominally to kill Othar, but, mainly to beat him and to show that he's been beaten on their homeworld, but also to capture one of the Sibcos. And the Sibcos are the training groups of kids. And this particular Sibco is the one that was made using Ulrich Ward's DNA. So they basically captured a bunch of young Ulrich Wards, and they're going to raise some of them among the Dragoons, but they're also going to, if the other clans will take them, they're going to trade them to the other clans. And yeah, so that's the message that Kincaid gives to Murata Kerensky to go tell the IlClan, that at some point in the very near future, he's going to be fighting forces that include his progeny. So, yeah, it's definitely a major screw you to Clan Wolf. So we'll see how that all pans out. And again, we got everything going on with the Free Worlds League. We got some stuff with the Sea Foxes in there. So we'll have to see how all that pans out. But yeah, overall, like I said, that was a really good book. It's a longer book. It's not one of the novellas. This is like 330 pages, I think. And I've shown like some of the artwork in the back of the others, the pages like this that have the mechs. Well, there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 pages of them here, because there's an awful lot of machines that are used in this book. So you get to see a lot of artwork back here in the back. And most of it's the new artwork, but some things haven't quite been updated yet. So, it's the older artwork, but even the older artwork isn't terrible. I think it still looks good. And you get the occasional ones like I think it's the Spartan here. It's definitely some old, like here, I'll show you guys. The Spartans here, this is some of the older artwork, whereas these are definitely newer artwork here. So, anyway, thought it was pretty good. Definitely looking forward to what else happens with the Wolf's Dragoons. I believe Jason Schmetzer actually has another book that just came out for the Grey Death Legion, and their rebirth in the current era. So I'm going to be reading it soon-ish. Right now, I'll jump back to, I can't think of the name of it. Sorry, it involves Clan Sea Fox, and it's during the Dark Age setting. So it's about 5 years before the battle for Terra. And just from what I've been reading so far, and I'll explain this whenever I do the video review, but it will probably help to read some of the WizKids era books to understand what's going on here, because the last few books in the WizKids era for the Dark Age setting covered the reformation of the Free Worlds League under, is it Jessica Merrick or Nicole Merrick? I think Jessica Merrick. She's got a couple other names. She married into the Merrick family. I think her actual last name was Hollis, just off the top of my head. Could be wrong on that. And yeah, so it's about 5 years before the big battle for Terra, and it's probably I imagine it's to set up the way things are in the IlClan era for the Free Worlds League, because like I said, they were reformed under again, I believe it's Jessica, and there's a couple of the former members did not rejoin, mainly the Duchy of Andurian. The Duchy of Andurian is presently being courted by the Magistracy of Canopius, and they are essentially a puppet state of House Lao, because Doshin Lao, the ruler of House Lao, is the brother of the woman who rules the Magistracy of Canopius, and Denai Lao Centrea is their daughter. And yeah, you heard all that correctly, but yeah. So anyway, there should be a link down at the bottom if you want to pick up the book on Amazon. It is an affiliate link. Text me if you need me to explain what that means, but you don't pay anything extra. Yeah, and I've gone through, I'll probably make a little note of this in the podcast for the channel update in the next podcast we do, but I have gone through and I've included links to all the books that we've talked about and the handful of other current-ish products that we talk about that are on Amazon. So they all now have affiliate links, unless I missed something. And the affiliate links are clearly marked, so there's no way you could really click on it by accident. They're in the description and a pinned comment. But yep, so that's where that stands. And I got a lot of views on the non-fiction book I just reviewed, Strong Towns. So there's a few other non-fiction books I've read recent-ishly that I'll probably go back and do some reviews for those, because it seemed like there's some interest there. So, we'll see about that. Probably try to get those up here in the next couple weeks. And no, I'm not going to go back and review like all 150 some odd Forgotten Realms novels that I've read, unless you guys really want me to, in which case I'll try to. But it's been a while since I've read most of them. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff to YouTube. We always appreciate all that. And anyway, just remember, no guts, no galaxy.